from the pain and made it out of Vanna. Drove and see the nightlife where they call Atlanta. Southside shows for a couple dollars, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. This is the Brew Party Podcast, episode 107. Haha, motherfuckers. I remembered the number this time. It's March. March Madness still going on. We had some awesome feedback from our last episode titled March Madness about the first round with our good buddy Grant Baker. It was so nice. We're going to do it twice. We brought him back. Grant, thank you for joining me once again.
Anything for you, buddy.
Oh, I love it. We might kiss after this is over. And by might, I mean we're going to. Anyway, so it's the Sweet 16. Yeah, it's the year of our Lord, 2023. It's the Sweet 16. It's the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. Awesome, super excited for it. Also in the back of my mind, sad because I know there's less and less basketball to be played. But before we get into that, the Sweet 16, let's talk a little bit about how we got here. So I'll just start with this. How fucked is your bracket?
It's bad, dude. It's really bad. I always I try to stay away from the office small talk about that because it's just so boring and it's the same conversation every year, but it's bad. I think on ESPN, I'm not one of those guys who has 8 different brackets out there. I think that's lame. I just stick with one and ride it out. I just go all my chips in the middle with the same bracket on as many different platforms as possible. I think the ESPN one, I'm in the 21st percentile. So that's not good.
Big time.
That's not good. I think the rank, if I'm looking at it right now, I think I'm ranking 15.8 million. That's where I'm at in the hierarchy. So not good. Usually doesn't help when half of your final 4 picks are out after the first day. So that usually that's bad. That's not good.
Yeah.
And almost 3 because I had Xavier and they were flirting with Kennesaw State.
Oh my God. Yeah, they were. And then they looked really, really good against Pitt. So yeah, my bracket's doing okay. It's not great, but it's not bad. I've got 3 Final Four teams left. I've got Bama, Texas, and UCLA. I did want to bring up, I did a couple brackets with Carson, and right here,
he's probably
folks,
a savant.
He's got Princeton going to the Final Four. He called it.
What was his rationale?
Just the name Princeton. And then I also would like to point out on here, he fucking picked Fairleigh Dickinson to beat Purdue. I can't make this shit up.
We can get into that all if we go back and re-listen to our first episode.
Yeah,
everything that we said, it was yep, not necessarily that we picked it, but Purdue. It's they choke every year. I'm going to adjust the spread to 44.5, and I'm going to hedge it with Fairleigh Dickinson money line. Nail on the head.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I believe I asked you which one of the number 1 seeds do you see making the earliest exit, and you didn't hesitate to say Purdue. We even talked about it a little bit at the end of the show about Tobin Anderson's speech in the locker room about saying the more I watch Purdue, the more I think we can beat them, and their tallest guy is 6'6", and the way they played defense and just pressed the shit out of Purdue made literally anybody else but Edey beat them, and it worked in their favor. Their guards didn't look very good. Nobody was really shooting the ball confidently. If you're in the Big Ten, you better be scouting that game or going back and watching that tape a lot to see what Tobin Anderson and his defense did to beat the Boilermakers. But that was one of the most impressive wins in the tournament.
Ever. I guess one of the most impressive wins ever. And we talked about it when we were watching the Purdue-Penn State game, Big Ten championship, when Penn State kind of put on the full court press against Purdue, and Purdue really, really struggled against it. So I'm sure Fairleigh Dickinson went back and watched the tape and really broke it down there. But Purdue had 2 freshman guards, Braden Smith and Fletcher Malloy, and they haven't liked pressure all year. And so Fairleigh Dickinson, the only way that they were going to beat Purdue was to ramp up the pressure and make them uncomfortable from start to finish, and that's exactly what happened.
So let me ask you this: Purdue? Are we dubbing them the biggest disappointment of the tournament?
So I saw when we were chatting a little bit before about topics for this show. Yeah, that's the easy answer. I think going a little bit deeper than that, I think the Big Ten in general is probably the biggest disappointment, and Purdue is the cherry on top.
I love it. So they have one team left in the Sweet 16. That's Michigan State, holding on by a thread
Well,
for the conference.
we got UCLA if we want to count them as.
Oh yeah, we will. I actually will take that. So 2 teams. Thank you for that. That's gonna be so weird. So weird. I still haven't my mind still fully hasn't like grasped that UCLA and USC are going to be in the Big Ten. That's going to be an adjustment for sure. So the Big Ten as a whole, that's your biggest disappointment. I think for me, that's a really fucking good answer. Obviously, my team just being disappointing really sucked. But I you got to say Purdue. I think Arizona's in the conversation as well for getting knocked out by a 15. You could say, let's transition into this, Grant. What's the biggest surprise? Is it FDU over Purdue? Is it Princeton still alive in the Sweet 16? Or is it another team I'm forgetting here?
Yeah, I think Princeton for sure. I mean, anytime you see a 15 seed in the Sweet 16, that's gonna jump off the page at you. And that wasn't a fluke win against Arizona. They went in there and beat their ass from start to finish. It's not like they were hot from 3. They were just dicing them up from start to finish, and they were better than Arizona on that day. The other surprise is Florida Atlantic, kind of. They hell of a game against Memphis, 1-point game, late clock winner. But then they had I don't want to say easy because FDU was playing, as hot as anybody in the country. But it's certainly not, Purdue. So Florida Atlantic, but there's an asterisk next to it. And then I think the other biggest surprise for me would be Miami, just based on their road. They've had a pretty difficult road, in my opinion, to get to the Sweet 16. They beat Drake barely. Drake blew it in the second half, and Drake is as strong of a 12 seed as you're going to see. And then they faced a really tough Indiana team and controlled the game really again from start to finish, and really took over in the second half. But I think Miami has surprised me. I think they've had a difficult path to get to the Sweet 16, and it's not getting any easier because they have Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of difficult path, would you say Miami has had the most difficult path so far to the Sweet 16? I think you could argue Princeton's had a tough one as well. I'm trying to think.
For me, yeah, it was Princeton. They've had Arizona and Missouri, and then I would say Arkansas as well. They beat Illinois, talented Illinois team, as up and down as they are, and then they had to go in and beat Kansas in a dead coach game, even though Bill Self isn't dead. But they went in there and beat a Bill Selfless Kansas team. So those are 2 quality programs that Arkansas had to beat, Illinois and Kansas. So I would say those 2 teams. And then hardest path to the Final Four, I think, is Miami. We talked about those first 2 games, Drake, IU. Then they got Houston, a 1 seed, and the winner of Texas Xavier in the Elite 8. So no gimmies for Miami this tournament.
Absolutely. Same thing can be said for Princeton. They got to beat a Creighton team that's really hot right now.
Yep.
And then, if you beat them, you're most likely going to see Alabama.
Yep.
I say that, but it could very well be SDSU too. But Bama has looked pretty untouchable so far. They, didn't mess around with the 16 in the first round. Didn't really mess around with Maryland in the second round either. They have looked pretty good. As far as paths to the Final Four, besides Princeton, dude, that bottom bracket as well. So, like the winner of Gonzaga, UCLA, or Arkansas, UConn, I think that's going to be a tough matchup, no matter what it is. Those are all teams that are.
Arkansas is an 8 seed. There's an asterisk next to that. They have so much more talent than an 8 seed. I mean, they got two lottery picks on their team. So yeah, they're an 8, but they could very easily be anywhere from a 2 to a 4, I think.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like it reminds me of Houston a couple years ago when they were a 5. They were a lot better than a 5.
Yep. Yep.
Let's go to all right. Let's best moment of the tournament so far. I mean, I think this is easy. It's got to be Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue. I think the Furman's upset over Virginia, one we didn't talk about yet. That's a hell of a disappointment for a 4 seed in Virginia. But that shot, you think about what led up to that shot. That's a errant pass by Kihei Clark, a guy that's been in college for a million years. He's seen everything you possibly could see in a college basketball game situation, and done it right a bunch of times too, and still
he had
mistake.
that heady pass. He had that heady pass to win Virginia the national championship his freshman year. So Virginia has either won the Natty or they get upset in the first round. I'm going to go beyond that. I think the craziest moment of the tournament this far, outside of Fairleigh Dickinson, that's the easy answer, was TCU covering plus 3.5 against Gonzaga. That was insane. That was insane.
Dude, 0.7 left on the clock. Gonzaga up 6, favored by 4.5. They let TCU roll the ball all the way past half court.
It was like NBA 3 points. So it was a deep 3, but makeable.
Absolute picks it up, flicks it, just ice water. Just and
so that was the best moment. That was the best moment for me.
That I remember watching that going, holy shit, because I live bet TCU plus 6.5. So I would have covered either way, but I knew I was like, holy shit. I think I also had TCU money line as well. So that one stung, but I love that you mentioned that because there were so many people talking about that because the broadcasts have become better about it now, where given in those casual gambling things, because normally they'd be like a 3 that doesn't matter, and then a lot of people are like, no, it fucking matters.
Yeah,
all
dude.
right.
Anytime they say that, I want to throw my remote through the television screen. It's like, no, you're a nerd, dude, if you don't know what the spread is.
I like to believe they absolutely know, and they do that on purpose just to be fucking douchebags.
You would never do anything like that, would you?
Never. No, I'm a man of integrity. So let's do this. Okay, so 12 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams have never won a championship. Is this the year we get a first-time champion?
I hope so, because for the past decade, I've wanted Gonzaga to win. So I think I'd say 4, maybe 5 teams that have never won before that have legitimate opportunities to win. Gonzaga, right there. Then I think Alabama. They got loads and loads of talent. Texas has never won a championship in basketball. And I think Xavier and Creighton are 2 other programs that have a real shot that don't have a title to their name. But I think it's great. I'd love to get a new champ. Kind of tired of seeing, the Kansases of the world every year. I don't know. Switch it up. I like a good curveball every now and then.
I love a good curveball. Speaking of Texas, Rick Barnes, former head coach there. He was the coach there the last time they were in the Sweet 16. He is now in the Sweet 16 with Tennessee. His first Sweet 16 in 15 years. Tennessee, pretty favorable matchup with FAU, you'd like to think. So a very good chance that he moves on to the Elite 8. That's one I'm going to be watching. Princeton looking to become the first 15 seed to make the Elite 8. Arkansas, 3 straight Sweet 16s. Very good chance of going to the Elite 8 again. Izzo's 15th Sweet 16 overall. This one I saw, but I didn't know if it was right. SDSU looking to become the first Mountain West team to reach the Elite 8. Did Nevada not go to the Elite 8? I thought they did. Or did they lose? I know they played Loyola, but did they lose to them in the Sweet 16 or was the Elite 8?
Was that the Jordan Caroline team?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But maybe 2017, 18?
Yeah, maybe
I think it was Sweet 16. I think they lost. I think they lost in Sweet 16.
Okay.
And that was with Muss too. That was with Muss as well.
Absolutely. The Muss bus, which all time reaction from him jumping up on the table and ripping his shirt off. And Uh,
Confirms lost in the Sweet 16.
all right. Well, we did that. So San Diego State looking to become the first Mountain West team to reach the Elite Eight. Houston is looking to become the first team since Butler in 2010. Shout out the Bulldogs and my younger brother Jacob, to earn a Final Four berth as the host of the Final Four. Final Four in Houston this year. Jim Nantz on the call, his alma mater, his last Final Four. Conspiracy theorists, let's put our tinfoil hats on. Cougars a lock for the Final Four.
If we want to go deeper, than that in the conspiracy theory, I would love to see, it's still on the table, a Houston versus Texas Final Four matchup, because Texas is so afraid. They never schedule little brother. They never schedule Houston. They don't schedule A&M anymore because they're out of conference. They don't play Rice. They don't play North Texas. And they've had a great thing going here the past couple of years. I think it would be really cool to see a Houston Texas Final Four matchup. I think that'd be ratings city if they could pull that one off.
Yeah, but they're on the same side, so they'd play.
It'd be Final Four, wouldn't it?
No, they'd play in the Elite Eight. So if they both,
oh yeah, you're right.
Still intrigue in it though.
You're right.
I actually have them in my bracket playing in the Elite Eight. I have Texas winning though. So I don't know. That's interesting though.
Right. I'm a moron. I was looking at the bracket wrong, but I think that would be a great matchup.
Fucking idiot. How about this? Let me throw this last fun fact at you, then we'll do a little transition here. Did you know, with Miami advancing to the Sweet 16, they have kept the ACC's streak alive. They've had at least one team in the Sweet 16 every year since 1979.
The Big Ten could never.
Yeah, for real. We actually could never. But that is an incredible streak, especially this year when you think about how down the ACC was. Hats off to Miami. Isaiah Wong has been super fun to watch, and I would not mind seeing them beat Houston. I think that'd be fun.
They have one of the more underrated coaches.
Oh, Larinaga
just shows up and just wins. He wins 20 games every year. Rinse, wash, repeat.
He is an incredible coach. I remember watching him at George Mason too on that run, and he's been in Miami since I think like the year after that. He has held it down in Coral Gables.
Yep.
So
it's probably pretty difficult to recruit players to Miami. He's got a tough gig out there.
Yeah, no shit. Just get him on campus, or it's like the FAU's campus is literally right on the beach. It is right on the beach.
It's right by the Cardinal spring training facility, I think. So tough life.
Yeah, for real. Like if I was a recruit, I'd just simply want to go there just to take a visit, like
just hang out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you fuck those visits up. So let's do this. Give me your prediction. What is the highest seed that will make it to the Final Four? We've got a 15, we've got a 9, an 8, a 7, we got a 6, 2 5s, 2 4s, 2 1 seeds left, 2 2s, and a 3.
So I want to see Creighton go. So for biased reasons, I'll say a 6. Because I think Creighton, I said it on the last podcast, I think they kind of underachieved all year, and I think they have more talent than a 6. So I'll say Creighton. But I think the best value, I haven't looked it up on DraftKings, but I think if you could get Arkansas to win their region, it's got to be plus money at something. So an 8 seed with that much talent, I think there's a lot of value there on the gambling side of things to get Arkansas to win their region. So I'll say my heart says Creighton as a 6. My brain says Arkansas as an 8.
I cannot argue with either of those. I completely agree on the Creighton side. They were a team that were they preseason top 10.
Preseason top 10. They were at one point they were the favorite odds wise to like win the national championship when they got Baylor Shireman, the South Dakota State transfer.
And just, they started out the season hot. Then I feel like they lost like 3 or 4 in a row, like early. And just all the hype and just kind of just disappeared. Which rightfully so, because they were not playing well. But when you're a team with that much talent, it's kind of the same thing you were saying with Arkansas. The regular season doesn't fucking matter at this point. Like if you're like starting to gel and feel it, like they have just as good a chance as anybody, I feel like, to make a run and go to the Final Four and maybe even the championship game. I've got Texas over Bama in mine. I also have UCLA in the Final Four. I had Marquette in the Final Four, unfortunately.
Where'd you have Purdue losing?
I had Purdue losing to Marquette in the Elite Eight. So I did have Purdue making a run despite me not wanting that to happen. Like I was, So we talked about it last week on the show, adjusting the spread and then taking Fairleigh Dickinson money line. I could not make myself take it at the beginning of the game. And like midway through the first half, I was trying to bet it like the whole time, but FanDuel had it locked. So I was able to get it at plus 600 at halftime. So I'll take that. I'll take that. And then of course, being dumb, I took them again against FAU, and they did money line. Yeah, money line. I think it was like plus 400 or something this time. No, it was plus 800. It was plus 800. And that was an awesome game. That was one of the better games of the tournament. And the wheels kind of just fell off at the end for them. But it's been a pretty decent tournament for me gambling wise, I would say. We were talking a little bit before the show that, it really started out with a bang as far as upsets and stuff like that go. There's been a lot of great games, but there have been a couple snooze fests. Like there have been some games where it's like, all right, a game we talked about, a game we picked last time, Iona. We were really hoping that Rick and the Gales would take down UConn, and it really looked like they had a chance to in the first half, and then UConn just absolutely turns it on in the second half. Just kind of
talent started to take over in the second half.
Absolutely. So let's do this. Let's do our. So will you? I guess obviously you're gonna have to change something about your Final Four. That's a stupid question. Give me your Final Four right now out of these Sweet 16 teams, and then give me your national champion.
I'm still riding with Gonzaga to win the Natty. So I'm riding with Gonzaga and Xavier. That side of my bracket is still intact for the most part. So I'll ride Gonzaga, Xavier, and then on the South, coming out of the South, give me Creighton as a 6. And again, this is all me just being biased because I want to see them win. But I think Alabama, they have a lot of baggage. They got cameras around them all the time. There's a lot of drama surrounding that program. Is that going to catch up to them? I don't know. Time will tell. But I think Creighton has the talent to match up with Alabama. So give me Creighton out of the South. And then in the East, I'm not high on Michigan State. I haven't been all year. I like Kansas State, but first-year head coach, not really too much experience. So I guess give me Tennessee because the one seed
wide open,
is out. It is wide open. We talked a little bit about pre-show about easiest paths. I think easiest path is Kansas State or Tennessee because left out of the East is a 9 seed, a 4 seed, a 3, and a 7. So give me Tennessee to come out of the East. To beat FAU and then beat the winner of Kansas State, Michigan State. So I got Creighton, Tennessee, Xavier, Gonzaga, and then Gonzaga to win the Natty.
Who do you have them? Who if Tennessee and Creighton match up? Who you have?
Give me Gonzaga, Creighton. Give me 2 mid majors. I know Creighton's in
awesome.
the Big East. I know Creighton's in the Big East now, so not really a mid major, but I think that'd be really cool.
I'd love it too. I do. So I will take. So I'm going to take the 3 teams I have left. It's more chalky. Let me say I like yours a lot better than I like mine. I have Bama left. I have Texas left. I have UCLA. So it leaves me with the fucking East, which literally it could be anybody. I could see FAU getting hot, dude. Give me Jerome Tang and K-State, even though Did you see the video of Rico Bosco?
I did. It
And
was super cringy.
it was incredibly cringy, and he was off rhythm the
I'm a
whole
writer.
time.
I'm a writer.
I can't claim that I'm a writer. I can't. But that makes me feel a little worse about picking K-State, but
Do you not?
I don't
Do you
know.
not? Sounds like you don't have the balls to pick Florida Atlantic.
You're gonna fucking challenge me on my own show. I'm Florida Atlantic to the Final Four. John L. Davis, tournament MVP.
You gonna put a future on it? You gonna put a future on it?
I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
I got
Let's look
$2
that up.
left in my DraftKings.
Let's look it up. What is? Can I bet them just to go to the Final Four, or
Great radio.
does it have to be a? It is. It's been great radio the whole time. I'm gonna love going back and seeing how many times I say or
Region winner, Florida Atlantic plus 450.
Well, ooh.
I put $2 on
I
it.
got four. I got
emptied
empty the clip.
the
I got plus
empty the-
470, plus 470 on FanDuel. So yeah, I'm taking that. I'm gonna put like $10 on that. Okay, fuck it. Florida Atlantic, UCLA, Texas, and Bama. I have Texas beating UCLA, Bama beating Florida Atlantic, and then Texas beating Bama in the national championship game. If that doesn't get Rodney Terry the Texas job, I don't know what will. But we'll see about that. We will absolutely see about that. So, Grant, speaking of gambling, it's what we love to do. It's what I love to talk about on this show. What are you going to be betting on this weekend? Well, I guess Thursday. We got Thursday and Friday games, and then we will see, I think, Saturday, Sunday as well. But what do you like for these first Sweet 16 games, or all your Sweet 16 games? Best bets. I say best bets, but I have a pick for every game.
The best bet is for me to lose everything again. It's honestly impressive. It's honestly impressive how bad I am. I have won a total of 3 bets. 3. I'm 3 in a million.
The entire tournament?
The entire tournament, dude. I've won Farley Dickinson plus 2.5 against Texas Southern. I won A&M Corpus Christi minus 3.5 against whoever they played in the 16 seed play-in game. And then I won Creighton minus whatever they were against North Carolina State. And then I'm counting it as a wash because I adjusted Purdue and lost that. But then I hit on the Farley Dickinson money line. So I'm not counting that. That was like a joke. I did that as a joke and then won. So I've literally won 3 games. So just fade me forever. The only thing keeping me alive is Swedish hockey and golf. I'm hot in Swedish hockey and golf. So my best bets for the weekend, maybe, depends how you look at it. Creighton minus 10, Miami Houston under 138, Gonzaga UCLA over 145.5, and John Rahm to win the WGC match play plus 1,200.
He's throwing in the golf futures. I love the versatility.
Odds boost to plus 1,500, and then we'll wait for the Swedish Hockey League picks from my Twitter guy tomorrow.
All right. I love that. I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah, there were. I remember going through the first weekend and being like, God damn, like the opposite of like everything he said is happening. I do remember being like, well, I hope at least Creighton covers or something, because it was through the first day.
I lost.
And it was. But I mean, that's March for you, baby. They are just kids, but just fucking get the ball in the basket. We got to make shots. You got to make shots to win games, Grant. So let me go through my picks. Like I said, I call them best bets. This is, I'm a degenerate. I'm going to bet every game. So I love Kansas State money line plus 105. It's my system. If it's the higher seed and they're getting plus money, I'm going to take it. I think plus 1.5 is also worth a look if you're going to do money line. But there are a few games where I'm just going to take the total because I really, really, I think either team could win, or I don't really love the spread. Arkansas, UConn over 39.5. This is something I want everybody to look at, Grant, or I think we should. UConn second half spread or second half money line. These first 2 games of the tournament, they have just absolutely destroyed everybody in the second half.
Yep.
I think that's where the look. I mean, FAU spread. I think you said earlier you could get it at 5.5. When I looked before the show, it was at 4.5. I think money line's worth a look there as well. I mean, fuck, why not? John L. Davis points. I'm going to take his over. I mean, fuck, he had 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals last time too. So maybe, I don't know if they do points, rebounds, assists for college players, but his props are worth a look if you can find them. This one, Grant, I don't know about, but I'm taking it because it's what's on my bracket, and I have them going to the Final Four. That might be the worst strategy. I probably should just fade this. UCLA money line, it's at -120, so there's a little bit of juice. But honestly, dude, if you look at it, right now, I think you can get Gonzaga money line at +100. I feel like
you're not going to get Zags plus money very often.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's really good value.
It's like the Chiefs. So I took the Chiefs plus money in the Super Bowl, not because I thought they were going to win, but because they had a plus sign next to their name.
Absolutely. So that's one that I'm going to go back and forth on pretty much until tip. SDSU Bama over 137.5. These are both, Bama is top 30 Ken Palm in offensive efficiency or scoring or some shit like that. Both teams, it's offensive tempo. They both like to move fast. They both do play good defense, but I like this over. It's also, I didn't really want to lay any points on the spread. I'm going to take Miami plus 7.5. I feel like they can keep it close. I don't know if they win, but I'm going to take the points there. Princeton, Creighton over 138.5. If both of these teams are hitting their threes, I feel like this can be a high scoring game. Both teams can shoot well. And the thing I like about Princeton, Grant, like they've shot the ball really well. But their like bigs have actually been pretty good too. Like they have been able to get into the paint and outscore people there. I don't know how successful they're going to be with that going up against Kalkbrenner. But I do think their guys give them a shot to keep this game close. I don't know if I'm going to lay the points, but I am going to take the over because I feel like both of these teams can score a lot of points. And then the last pick, I'm going to take Xavier plus 4.5. I feel like they can keep this game close with Texas. Like you said, they had that scare with Kennesaw State, but looked pretty good in the second round. I also think over 48.5 in that Xavier Texas game is worth a look to. Both these teams can really score. Sule Boom, Kunkel went crazy for Xavier in the second round. Nunji's had a really good tournament
Iowa guy, well.
Shout out. And then if you look at the Texas side of the ball, Serge Jabari Rice has been playing out of his mind. He has an incredible name. Grant, I think the last time we were on the show, you talked about Timmy Allen. He's been great. Marcus Carr is a veteran guard with a ton of experience. So there's so many ways you can go with this, but I think I'm going to take Xavier plus 4.5, and I think I'm going to take the over as well. But that's kind of what I got for my best
Marcus
bets.
Carr, Big Ten guy, so he'll probably lose.
Yeah, he'll probably choke it away. Yeah, very on brand. So the Big Ten has not won a national championship since 2000. There's one Big Ten team left. It's Michigan State. I think we've already established we don't think they're going to do it this year,
which is probably why they will.
Exactly. As take it as evidence from the last show how much shit we got wrong, and then you just fade us. I've been
go ahead.
I said I've been a little bit better than 3 in a million, but I have a history of being very wrong, especially on this show. So take that with what you will.
Purdue getting bounced early took away a potential Zach Edey, Ryan Kalkbrenner matchup from Purdue Creighton as we get deeper in the tournament. That would have been great TV. And your UConn point is really good. I got to look at it. The game versus Arkansas, I might look at the halftime, full-time lines, and I might take like Arkansas halftime, and then UConn to win full-time. I think the odds could be. I don't have DK pulled up right now, but I think it could be plus.
I love that.
Plus 450 or plus 500. I think there's a lot of value there.
Yeah, because that's what we talked on the phone the other day about. I couldn't believe some of the lines they were getting for that. Like it was
a 30 game. It was like plus 600 or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, The Sweet 16 is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. We got the first game Thursday at 5:30. 4 games Thursday, 4 games Friday. Then we get to Saturday and Sunday. Starts us off Michigan State, K-State at 5:30. Arkansas, UConn at 6:15. FAU, Tennessee at 8 p.m. Gonzaga, UCLA at 8:45. That's all Thursday. Those are all Central Time, the most elite time zone. Friday, 5:30 is SDSU and Bama. 6:15, Miami at Houston. Friday at 8 is Princeton and Creighton. Buckle up for that one, ladies and gentlemen. Friday at 8:45, Xavier and Texas. Out of these games, Grant, which one are you looking forward to the most?
I like Xavier, Texas. I think that's probably the sexiest matchup.
Yeah.
A 2 versus 3. Gonzaga, UCLA, shades of Adam Morrison. I'm sure that highlight is going to be thrown on repeat a bunch. FAU, Tennessee. I think the East is just so out of whack right now with the 1, 2, and 3. The 3 seed is still alive, but with the 1 and the 2 out, I think the door is wide open in the East. So I think if FAU can keep this run going, there's storylines there. And then out of the South, I like Creighton and Princeton. So 1 game out of each bracket. Xavier, Texas out of the Midwest. Gonzaga, UCLA out of the West. FAU, Tennessee out of the East. And then Creighton, Princeton out of the South. Honorable mention, we'll go Arkansas, UConn, because I think there's a ton of talent everywhere on that floor.
Yeah, what games are you looking forward to watching? I don't know,
All
half
of
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
all of them. I love it though. I do think both of the 3-2 matchups are like the must watch. They're both 8:45 time slot. Zags, UCLA, and then Xavier, Texas, I think are going to be very good games. I hope they're all really good games. I want buzzer beaters, like I said last week. I want drama. It's just the best part of this fucking tournament. And I want the highest seed possible to keep advancing. So I'm going to root for Carson's bracket and to get Princeton in the Final Four. We actually did twos.
Do you want Xavier to lose? Because then that might drive down the price for Sean Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I want Xavier to lose because of my bracket in Texas. I don't really give a fuck about my bracket, but
it's nice to brag a little bit.
It is nice to brag and be like, I told you so. So yeah, Carson and I did 2. I did the first one with him. I was just reading the names off to him, and then I could kind of tell he was just saying whatever the second school I said was.
Plus line Prince.
Yeah. So then I did another one where I had him I had something in each of my hands and I had him pick that. And then I had him pick, I did like the school colors and I had him pick whatever color he liked better. And then I did like their mascots, whatever he liked better for that. So the second one definitely is going better than his first one, but I just thought it was hilarious that he picked Fairleigh Dickinson and then he has Princeton still alive. So, I mean, it's just the best. I love filling out brackets. I'm not like you said, I don't do like 8 of them. I have one that I did for a pool at work. I had another pool, like one pool I did online. And then that's pretty much it. So, and then the ones I did with Carson. But other than that, it's been fun. And I love actually having the physical one where I could follow along and highlight
get some ink on the fingertips, dude. Ink on the fingertips.
I love it. There's nothing like the Monday after Selection Sunday where you're printing out the physical bracket and going through it.
And then you have an old printer and it jams, and then you're just there MFing your printer all afternoon just to get 4 pieces of paper out. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah,
I mean, always a classic.
You're motherfucking the printer just like you're gonna motherfuck the team that
kids.
doesn't cover or whatever. They're just kids. All right, they're the best. Grant Baker, this has been incredible. I always love having you on the show. I appreciate you coming back. Back-to-back weeks for March Madness. I mean, we said it last week. It's the best time of the year. During this time, I do nothing but just sit on my couch and watch as much basketball as possible. Actually, this is funny. Before we go, it was either Friday or Saturday of the first weekend, and it's one of the late games, so it didn't start till after 10 o'clock, right?
10:30,
and it's 10:30. Kaylin's watching it with me, and she just looks at me and she goes, wow, do you think they're tired? I'm like, are you serious? I said, no. I mean, it's 10:30 and they're also playing as hard as they can right now. They're probably a little bit tired.
Yeah, they're gassed
But
right now.
yeah, but it's just fun. But it was cool. She filled out a bracket too this year. It's fun to see her get into it. But anyway, this is the Brew Party Podcast, episode number 107, the Sweet 16 with Grant Baker. We appreciate you for joining us. We're back, weekly schedule. Look at me getting 2 episodes out 2 weeks in a row on the same day, no less. Thursday morning, Thursday, the first day of the Sweet 16. Find us on Facebook at the Brew Party Podcast. We're on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at the Brew Party. www.thebrewparty.com has got all of our episodes, links on where else you can find us. We're on all podcast platforms. Just search the Brew Party, youtube.com/the Brew Party as well. Like this video, subscribe, comment, tell us who you got going to the Final Four. Tell us what you think about the teams left. Tell us what you think about our bets. Tell us if you have some bets or what is your lock of this weekend. I know locks don't really exist, but you better lock it up, Grant. This is the Brew Party Podcast, episode 107. We're out of here.